Good day everyone, my name is Lorenzo M. Tagalog Jr. and along with Miss Princess Elena Malabana, we're going to answer the question number 1. So here's the question. Mr. A has this estafa case and the case reached the Supreme Court. Unfortunately, he lost the case. As we all know, when a case reaches the Supreme Court, the same is published in every website discussing Philippine jurisprudence. Now, every time someone key in his name in the web search engines, the estafa case is displayed as one of its results. Due to such, Mr. A suffered humiliation and embarrassment from people who chance upon such a search result of his name. Because of this, he wants his name to be removed from such websites and he therefore invokes his constitutional right to privacy. The issue is, can a person request that his name be removed from such websites pertaining to SC decided cases as the same is a violation of his right to privacy? Why? Why not? Our answer is Mr. A can't request for his name to be removed since the Supreme Court didn't violate his rights to privacy by publishing the record to the website that discusses Philippine jurisprudence, which is heavily required for the SC to do so. First of all, privacy refers to how people protect themselves, specifically their information or data, from public scrutiny. Through enacting privacy, we enable ourselves to manage our boundaries pertaining to information that is very crucial or personal. In a rapidly developing generation, there is also instances where privacy is needed to be further and strictly upheld to avoid more implications and incidents such as identity theft, scams, discrimination, prejudice, and etc. In this topic, we can understand the worries of Mr. A about being humiliated online, but this doesn't mean his request to remove his name in the published article about the estafa crime is valid. If, by any chance, this request is to be approved, then the court might violate the right of the people, especially the victims, to know what actually happened and or what is the story behind this case, as well as the rule that is requiring the SC to publish the said record in the public. In regards to privacy, Mr. A's request will only be valid if his address or any information that might lead to his family or other information, especially if it is personal information that he didn't permitted to be disclosed, is also indicated in the article or record that is published online. It will be valid since the SC violates Mr. A's constitutional right pertaining to the right to privacy under Philippine law that states that the Privacy Act ensures that a person is to be left alone and has a freedom of which information he will choose to disclose.
Moving on, the right to privacy is also featured in the constitutional law, and as stated by fine law is that a person's private information should be free from public scrutiny. Means that our personal information should not be displayed to the public by anyone, especially on social media, as it will spread faster and reach many people throughout the nation without our permission. It is also stated in the Fifth Amendment of Constitutional Privacy Rights that justifies the right of a person's privacy to be protected. This right is available for everyone, even if they are criminals, which is very favorable in Mr. A's case, but then again, it is still invalid as the SC is allowed to show the records of the proceedings publicly. This statement is under Rule 135, Section 2 of the Powers and Duties of Courts and Judicial Officers, which totally allows the SC, or rather requires the SC to publish the record to the public for anyone who has interest at any time of the day. This also explains why Mr. A's request is deemed invalid and not eligible to claim the act of the SC of publishing the already decided case record as violation of privacy.
Good day to all. I am Oliver Quiroz and I will discuss to you today question number 2. Identity theft is usually an act of obtaining personal information such as passwords, ID numbers, credit card numbers, or social security numbers and misuse them to act fraudulently in the victim's name and be used for various illegal purposes, including applying for loans, making online purchases, or accessing victims' medical and financial data. Identity theft is somewhat close to phishing and other social engineering techniques that can obtain sensitive information from the victim. When the identity thieves have collected the information, they can use it to order goods, take over the victim's online accounts, or take legal action under the stolen name. There are some causes of identity theft that can happen in a variety of ways, but here are the three main things that triggers it. First is lost or stolen personal documents. Second is insecure online data. Third is there are common causes of identity theft that can happen in a variety of ways, but here are the three main things that triggers it. First is lost or stolen personal documents. If your wallet, purse, or passport has gone missing or been stolen, you are susceptible to identity fraud. Second is insecure online data. As consumers handle more and more banking, shopping, and personal communication online, the risk for identity theft grows. Common scenarios include if you enter your credit card or bank account numbers into an insecure site or use a weak password or the same password across multiple websites. The last one is company-wide data breaches. In a data breach, cybercriminals hack into a company's private records to obtain its customers or users' personal data such as social security and credit card numbers. There can be numerous effects of identity theft on an individual, but here are two things that greatly affect a person. First is financially. The financial hardships that may be caused by identity theft can last for months or years after your personal information is exposed. Identity thieves can also take over the investments you made and other financial accounts, which can affect your retirement, mortgage, or your future in general. The second one is emotional. Identity theft is often a faceless crime that can trigger a host of emotional reactions. The first feeling that the victims may experience is anger, but after the initial shock, other challenging and long-term emotions may come into play. A good example is when you're applying for a job and a criminal record pops up in your background check, and it may affect your feelings of self-worth. Criminal identity theft could lead to your arrest before you're able to clear up the criminal record. So, my recommendations to avoid identity theft is to secure your connection and keep your device secure. We can also start adopting useful tips such as keeping your personal documents in a safe place, shredding financial statements, using a variety of complex online passwords, and being mindful of where and when you share your personal information. So in conclusion, we should start by doing the prevention to avoid getting the lesson learned. It's important to be aware of the websites or links you enter your private information, and we should first confirm or legit check those sites before submitting important information.
Good day, everyone. My name is Ana Patricia Lindo, and I'm with Mr. MJ Mengito to answer question number 3. Due process. What is due process? According to Britannica 2020, due process a course of legal proceeding according to rules and principles that have been established in a system of jurisprudence for the enforcement and protection of private rights. In each case, due process contemplates an exercise of the powers of government as the law permits and sanctions under recognized safeguards for the protection of the individual rights, principally associated with one of the fundamental guarantees of the United States Constitutions. Due process derives from early English common law and constitutional history. The first concrete expression of the due process idea embraced by Anglo-American law appeared in the 39th article of Magna Carta, in the royal promise that no free man shall be taken or imprisoned or disseized or exiled or in any way destroyed, except by the legal judgment of his peers or by the law of the land. In subsequent English statutes that reference to the legal judgment of his peers and law of the land are treated as substantially synonymous with due process of law. And the aspect of due process will be discussed by Mr. Mengito.
According to the Icelandic human rights, the aspects of due process are quality in terms of administration of justice. The right to a fair trial is guaranteed if individuals can have recourse to a competent, independent, and impartial tribunal, as recognized by international conventions such as ICCPR and the American Convention. Quality in terms of protection of the rights of the parties involved. The quality of a court cannot be assured if the rights of the applicants are not assured. A number of individual rights and principles related to the right of a fair trial have been developed, including the right to a fair hearing, the right to a public hearing, and the pronouncement of judgment, equality of arms, presumption of innocence, freedom from compulsory self-incrimination, the right to know the accusation, adequate time and facilities to prepare a defense, the right to legal assistance, the right to examine witnesses, the right to an interpreter, the right to appeal in criminal matters, the right of juvenile offenders, no punishment without law, ne bis in idem, and the right to compensation for miscarriage of justice. Efficiency of the administration of justice. The European Convention and the American Convention expressly require that hearings take place within reasonable time. The ICCPR speaks of expeditious hearings, thereby also implying that justice be delivered expeditiously and within a reasonable time. A delay of justice is often equal to no justice at all. As the old saying goes, justice delayed is justice denied. It is especially important for a person charged with a criminal offense not to remain longer than necessary in a state of uncertainty about his or her fate.